for tuning in. We're Julie and Dana, two moms navigating marriage and motherhood. But this is definitely not your mom's podcast.
Hey guys, it's Julie.
And Dana, and this is Not Your Mom's Podcast. And today I want to talk about something that our kids actually just recently went through. And how do you teach your kids to handle mean girls or mean kids?
Yeah.
But I feel like often
bullies.
it's girls.
I think I say bullies a lot.
Yeah,
or something.
bullies, yeah.
But you're right, girls are just
I feel
bitches,
like that's like
aren't
a common thing. And you know what's interesting about today? And our kids are a little on the young side to be dealing with it, but I'm noticing it with my oldest, who's 10, starting to deal with it, is
At
like
school.
bullies now can come home with you because we have phones and messaging and iPads.
yeah.
And there's not a way to let up. Like it used to be like you would be bullied in school and you'd go home and be able to kind of like zone out of it a little bit.
Totally.
And now it can follow you everywhere.
No, it like wrecked Callie's like middle school to even high school
Yeah.
life. Like she'd be like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "What?" She's like, something on Snapchat. How they like it was like a private group conversation, and now got forwarded into or not
Yeah.
forwarded. I don't even know the right word, but went into like someone where everyone got to see her. I remember the first time I heard her say she like got canceled or something. I was like, "What? Like, what does that even mean?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, like just for sticking up for somebody
Yeah.
or something dumb like that. And I'm like, oh man, like I haven't even talked to my kids yet because they don't have phones, but I'll have to have that conversation about pictures and how you post and with
I
you have that
know.
person's permission and
Yeah.
what you write and what you text. Like it's wild, right?
It is wild. And
This
oh
motherfucker.
my God, that cat is coming for you.
Sorry, the cat just attacked me. Trevor.
This is why I don't like cats. That shit's crazy.
It didn't hurt that bad.
It
Look
doesn't
how I
matter. He
accepted
came
it.
for blood.
Look how I accepted it. I'm like, he's my love. I'm like that mother to a serial killer. I'm like, he didn't mean it. Oh my gosh, get him out of here.
He
He's
just
attacking
like
my
went right for her, the back of her head.
He likes my new color. It's electric for him. But
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
No, mean girls suck and bullies suck. And I try to teach my kids to like stand up for themselves or stand up for other people because you have to have a spine and you have to like say no. You have to find out. Like I think like bullies and mean people want you to react. They want the weak.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I feel like Styles, he's such a happy-go-lucky person. He gets picked on a lot.
Yeah.
He's kind of not saying he's a weak lean. He's just
Well, he
sweet.
hasn't found that part of himself yet
Yeah,
either. You know,
yeah,
I feel like
he's just
sometimes that
sweet.
takes time. I used to not stand up for myself at all, and now I would
Ugh.
consider myself very confident.
Me
and
too.
stand up for
I
myself.
never stood up for myself. I was
Yeah.
definitely like a follower
Yeah,
for
me
a
too.
long time. I was always unique in that I do weird things or dress
Right.
weird, but I definitely
You wanted
wanted everyone to like.
acceptance.
Yeah, I wanted
Me too.
acceptance. I wanted everyone to like me. I didn't want conflict. I
Yeah.
still don't want conflict, and I think you're probably better than me about voicing your needs and stuff. I think I harbor that like in still.
I had a lot of best friends that so I was an only child, and I
Yeah.
feel like I always wanted that sister connection, like that really close bond connection
Yeah.
with someone. And I always had best friends, and some of them were like very controlling, and like I'd always feel like I was walking on eggshells and like guilt-ridden and stuff. And I learned very quickly I don't like those feelings. And
Yeah.
I feel like I dealt with those feelings for so long that now I'm like, I don't care if it causes conflict. I don't care if it makes someone uncomfortable. I'm either done or I'm going to tell you about it. And if we can't change it, then I'm done. Like when I start
So
feeling those
good.
feelings, it's quick for me to start like being like it makes me feel like that again, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not good at that yet. Like I think I need therapy over something like that. Like I definitely hold on to guilt and I'll hold it on for like a long time, like years and years and years about something I
Yeah.
did in the past. And I
Yeah.
won't let it go and I'll let myself feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because I'm an artist that I want to feel miserable sometimes? I want to like sit in my own shit.
I feel like I feel guilt. Like it's not that I don't feel guilt.
No, I know, but I mean, you don't let it
but
stay there. I do.
I try not to. And if it was my fault, I will feel guilty about it and sit
That's what
in
I
it.
mean. I think a lot of the times it's
I
my
will.
fault. And I'm like, that's probably the worst part is like I almost have, it's not that perfectionist personality, but I feel that I'm like compassionate and kind and socially smart. So when I fuck up, I almost can't stand it. Like I
Yeah.
can't stand that I might have hurt someone or did someone wrong and so I'll just sit there and let that like stew and turn instead of
Yeah.
saying, I should just say as an observer outside being like, okay, you made a mistake.
Well, that's what I try to do. And I'm
Like,
like,
just
you
move on
know,
from it or
if I
forgive
made the
yourself.
mistake, I will own up to my mistake.
yeah,
Like I have
me
no problem
too.
with it. But I don't like the guilt I feel when I know I didn't do anything wrong. When
Oh.
someone makes
See,
me feel
I fuck
guilty,
myself up and say that it was still my
it
fault.
was still your fault. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I don't know what
I don't
that's
want to sit in
from.
that anymore. Like if you make me feel guilty for doing something that was just like something I had like it shouldn't have been a problem of me doing, that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It brings me back to like all of those times that
Yeah,
I let
yeah,
people
yeah.
treat me like that. And I'm like, I'm too old for that shit.
I need to get yes, I am getting better. I am definitely getting better where, like I think it helps too when you have, like, your pod, whether you have children or not, like,
Yeah,
if it's your partner or let's say you're a single lady, but you have, like, your 3 best
your
friends that
friends, yeah,
you meet up with every week, like, if you have that, you sorta don't care about the
because
rest.
you get more confident in your ability to have your own, like you just said, your own pod. Like you have a person, or you have a, you don't need acceptance from everyone because all you really care about is the acceptance from that group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But as far as like Mean Girls and like going back to like with our kids, and that is something I want them to learn. I don't
Yeah.
want them to feel guilt.
Yeah. 'Cause it's a low
I have a
vibrational state of
theory.
being. It's not even
It
it doesn't
is.
serve
It
you.
doesn't. And
We all need to feel the emotion, I think, in the moment, and then it has to be released.
yeah,
We
you can
grow
hold
from
on to
it. We're all
things.
not gonna not feel guilt. We need to
Mm-mm.
feel guilt and humiliation and
Yeah,
things like that.
jealousy, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a moment there for growth and expansion. I've definitely started talking to my kids about that. Like they were saying, like, Freya was like, why can't everything be perfect? And why does it? I'm like, because then we're not gonna grow and learn. I'm like, every time, like you have to stop thinking, and I got this from the teachings of Joshua, like where it's things are happening for you, not to you.
Mhm.
Every opportunity really is a way to learn and expand and grow from it, even if they are really, really hard ones,
And
it's a
on
journey.
that, people are acting really, it's their inner self. It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with you.
Right.
And I try to tell my girls that too.
Yes.
And not in a
Yes.
way of like, I hate the like, oh, they're probably just jealous of you thing. Cause I feel like that then
I know. I think I've said that before in the
I have
past,
too. And I feel like I'm like, I don't know if that's the right
it's not the right
approach.
word, but it's
But
okay.
I understand the idea of that is that
Yeah.
there's an insecurity that they have. And I think that that happens in our dance world a lot, like
Mhm.
friendships and
Yeah.
who's good at this and who's getting awards, and right. Like there's some sort of insecurity within themselves. And then they
Mhm.
kind of penetrate that. That's not the word. They kind of like,
Penetrate.
yeah,
I
I know.
love that.
They penetrate. No,
I know.
what's the word? Like, and then they
Look
like
how
put it
excited I
onto
always
you.
get when you
I know
say
when I
things
say a
like that. I'm
word.
like, "Ooh, what are we talking about now? We went from kids to penetration. Tell me more."
You never know what you're gonna get with this podcast.
I know.
Yeah, so I try to teach them that. And then the other thing is like my girls handle things very differently, and I try
Yeah, that's a
sometimes that
good
bothers me because I'm like, well, no, I'm teaching you guys the same things, but then I have to remember that they're
Mm-mm.
two different people. Lily is
Totally.
much more likely to avoid conflict,
Yeah.
not at home. But
She feels
like,
comfortable with you
yeah,
there.
but like in a setting with like certain mean girls that I can think of that come to mind, she will kind of walk away from it a little bit and
It's a little
just
smart though.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Where my middle one is like, "Oh, I'm sticking up for her, and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
involved, and I'm
Gray
gonna
will be
that's
like
not
that too.
okay."
Yeah.
And they actually had a fight one day because she walked away and Violet stood up for a friend, and my oldest was like, "Why'd you do that? Why'd you get involved? Like, you should have just walked
Oh,
away. That's why she was then mean to you." And Violet turned around and was like, "I don't care if she's mean to me. She was wrong. She shouldn't have done that to
yes.
so and so."
Right.
And I
I can see both
was like,
perspectives.
"Wow, like I'm
Yeah.
kind of proud of both of you in
Yep.
totally
They
different
both
ways."
chose what was like right for them. And I also say like to my kids, I'm like, listen, everyone is maybe not everyone. Everyone's gonna go crazy if I say everyone. Everyone's like born like good. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
also like it could be like their chemical makeup in their hand, their
Yeah.
environmental, whatever. But ultimately, I'm like that
Most
person has
people
a
want to be good.
yeah. I'm like
Yeah.
that person probably still has a lot of learning and growing to do. One, two, you don't know what their home life is.
Although there's some sociopaths out
I
there.
know, but
And I've seen
anyway,
it even in childhood.
I know. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. That's a whole nother talk. But yeah, and like some people are having problems at home
Yes. You
or
never know someone's life.
yes. And I said, so cut them some slack, give them some grace at first. You know what I mean? And then you need to either stand up for yourself or cut it off or walk away. Or then if
I
it's
like that
worse,
you
you
said
tell
that
somebody.
at first because I agree with
Oh,
that.
the first round.
I totally agree
Because think about how many times we're a bitch.
yes,
Like,
I battle with that though because I used to try to always find like what you just said. Well, maybe maybe their home at life isn't good. Maybe they were dealing with this. But then I realized, wait, that's going to make my kid
I know,
make
accept that
excuses for everyone and
behavior.
accept bad behavior, right?
Yeah,
That's what people do when they're in an abusive relationship. They make excuses for the
absolutely.
person. So I quickly did what you just said. Yes, give them grace at first.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with them. I'm
Yeah.
all about communication. Tell them
Yeah.
that bothered you. And if the pattern continues, then you leave.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
you
gonna
don't
say no
stay in
one
that shit.
deserves that shit.
No.
I'm like, you don't need that friend bad enough. You have other friends. You have
No.
a great life. Like
Screw that. Friendship
yeah.
shouldn't be that hard.
And I'm probably bad, but like when someone tells me like someone said something, I'm like, well, he's a fucking asshole. I'm like, why did he do that? Or like, she's a bitch. What? I'm like so bad. And Trevor will be
That
like,
6-year-old is a real bitch.
well, they can be.
They can be.
Kids can be assholes,
They
and I
can.
will state that again. Sometimes kids are assholes.
That's true. It's
Like,
a fact.
they just are, but we're all still
I think we're all
grown-ups are. I
assholes
was gonna say,
sometimes. I was gonna say.
we're all having our moments here, so obviously some flexibility in your perspective on them while
Yeah.
they're going through shit, but then ultimately, no, you don't need that person in your life, you don't need to take shit, but I also don't want them to be like, I know many people that feel they're entitled to having, like, not ever dealing with difficult people.
Right. You can't cut everyone off
Like, you're
just
like,
at the
oh, like,
first.
just at first meeting, if someone rubs them the wrong way, I know plenty of people are like, "Oh, I don't like that person," or "Fuck them,"
Mhm.
like and I'm like, "Fuck them." I'm like, "Fuck you." Like, you're not perfect either. You
Yeah.
have shit too. So, like, can you just, like, zoom out a little bit and just let's see. They maybe had a bad day or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just think that's a little harsh, I think, at
I
first.
agree. You can't cut everyone off, and you're gonna have to learn how to deal with difficult people
Yes,
sometimes.
and I want my children to I guess there's a difference between, like, bullying and toxicity and then difficult people.
Agreed.
But they sometimes go hand in hand where it's, like, kinda blended together. I
Mhm.
definitely don't want my I fear that my children are too sheltered and they've never really had, like, hardship, so they won't know how to deal with anything as a young adult. I'm starting to see that with, like, young adults, they kinda don't know how to handle struggle,
Yeah.
stress, because everything their parents have handled everything, everything's been mapped out, you get everything right away, you've never had to really wait for
Well, that's a
anything,
really
like
hard thing as a parent, right? Like,
and you don't want them to
letting your
suffer. Oh,
kid
I know, I don't want
handle
them to suffer.
hardship.
I can barely do it, I'm just preaching this because I need to hear it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it
it's
is true, and there are definitely times where I think we have to let them, and
mhm,
it's like, you can't solve all their problems for them, or they'll never learn how to solve problems. You'll be doing them a huge disservice one day.
yeah,
Like, they almost have to deal with the mean girls. They have to deal with the teacher getting mad at them. They have to deal with, like,
yeah. Yeah,
some sort of
I love that with
struggle.
the teacher getting mad at them, that's hard because I feel like a lot of the perfectionist kids
Mhm,
out there that are doing good, they wanna do good, and they just kinda can't handle a
mhm.
critique. They can't handle someone saying, "You didn't do good here." Like, even Styles, like, the first time he got, like, I don't know what the grading system is, I wanna say, like, a D. The fuck, this, like, plant is in my
It's literally
hair.
you're, like,
I
into
know, I hear the
plants.
but I sorta like it too, like, "B1,
Oh my god.
kumbaya." I like it, I don't know, just him, like, not getting a good grade, and I was like, "What happened here?" Like, I
Yeah.
don't even care about grades, I just want my kids to apply themselves.
Yeah.
And I also want them to know when they didn't and when they did, to be proud when they did and to be like, "Okay, coulda done better."
Yeah.
We'll get to that. So I was like, "What happened here?" And he's like, "Mom, I can't get, like, a perfect score every day." I'm like, hold on." I'm like, "But, like, was this something, like, you coulda studied for?" He's like, "She literally never blah, blah, blah." And I heard it. I remember hearing it from Callie. "This teacher's the worst. Everyone failed. No one likes her." And I do believe that sometimes. You
Yeah.
have to believe your kids
Oh,
sometimes
100%,
because if
yeah.
you don't, like, they'll never trust you with that information, right? But I was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm like, "Is it something though, maybe, like, just can you think for a second instead of getting defensive, like, could you have, like, studied for it?"
Yeah.
Because it was, like, the first time he had to study for something. In
Yeah.
4th grade, he hasn't had to do that yet. And he's like, "I think I hear what you're saying." I'm like, "Yeah, she gives you, like, reading material or something, and you think, like,
Right.
some days of the week you're gonna get tested, like, you should probably
It's
look
so
over
easy to
that."
make excuses.
So easy to make
But
excuses.
parenting's so fucking hard. Because,
Ugh.
like you just said, you have to believe your kids, but then you also have to know that there is other sides to the story, and your kid's not always gonna tell you the exact
No, they are they're
truth. They're telling
fending
their truth maybe,
I
but,
say they're
like
defending themselves just like we do.
right.
We do it all the time.
That's another behavior I can't stand is, like, the defensive behavior, and I mean,
Mhm.
I get it, right? It's
Yeah.
natural instinct, but, like, if you get defensive automatically, I understand it, but if you can't then move on from that defense and, like, zoom out and see yourself in it, like, that
Yeah.
bothers me. It's another pet peeve of
Totally, me
mine.
too, and honestly, I think I did that I think I still do that. Like, if Trevor and I fight,
Mhm.
I the first thing I wanna do is keep defending my point of view.
Mhm.
It has definitely like, since my 20s,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was definitely that opinionated person.
Yeah.
If you said something, I was gonna fight for what I stood for,
Yeah.
and I would not see the other person's point of view, and then as I got older, I was like, "Okay, I wanna stay open and hear someone else's point of view," but within Trevor and I's or even the kids, like, I wanna be like, "I'm right, you're wrong,"
Yeah.
but I'm working on it, and I think I'm getting better. Like, I think the most important thing is to just stop, drop, and roll. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop and, like, listen instead of, like, thinking about the next thing you're gonna say and, like, fight for, fight
Yes.
your like, whatever. But, hey, I wanted to ask you something. So, you
Oh
know how it's, like,
gosh.
winter and, like, it's cold out and stuff like that? Do you continue to shave, like,
Yeah.
your vajay and your legs?
Yeah. I'm a shaver. So, okay, it's like a sensory thing. I hate hair. I hate hair,
If it
which
doesn't
is
it
so
itch when you
funny because when
first
I
shave
say it, John
it?
always laughs because John's like a hairier guy,
Yeah.
but I can't stand hair. It bothers me on my legs, bothers me. I mean, I shave everything. I've been shaving everything since I was like 12, okay? Like my
Who
arms
has
too.
time for that? No wonder you're sleeping with your contacts in and getting eye infections. Who has time to shave
I
their
gotta be in
body?
the shower for an hour. I mean, there's no choice.
Oh, no wonder. Oh my gosh.
But I
No.
only shower like that every other day or so. So like I'm not shaving every single day, probably every other day.
I think I've gone like weeks. There's times I don't even shave like my armpits, and I'm not trying to. The only reason why I keep up with my
I was gonna say I
armpits.
could see you like doing that though.
No, Trevor's like, that's a deal breaker. Like,
That's a deal breaker.
we see people on that Naked
Yeah.
Attraction show all the time when the girl like opened up her arms and she's like fully
Yeah.
like full bush, full whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, that's sort of empowering, but then like at the same time, I'm
don't
like, I don't
find
want that.
that.
I don't want that. I do like being clean. Like I
Yeah.
like it all clean and tidied. But I just forget, if it wasn't for me teaching classes on Wednesday and Saturday mornings where I teach like fitness and
Yeah.
I'm wearing a tank top, I'd probably forget to shave my armpits. But I shave those mornings.
Oh, and
But
I love a good shave after I haven't shaved. Like if I did
Oh, of
miss
course.
a week,
It's
I'm
so
like,
satisfying.
"Whew, this is gonna feel so
Do you
good."
shave anything on your face?
I shave my face too.
But with that little razor
Yeah,
thing.
with like a derma blade.
Yeah.
Derma blade. Yeah.
I was talking to the girl. I just got my eyebrows done. They're kind of crazy right now. They'll heal, but okay. Can we talk about the pain that we go through in beauty? Like
Yeah.
that shit hurt. She was like scraping it like a rake with blades. I'd rather get a tattoo. It was so painful, and I think the nerves up here near your eyeball or something hurts. It was. I felt like
I'm gonna stick
I was
with
in a
my eyebrow pencil.
torture chamber. It was good the first like 25 minutes, and by like the last 5 minutes, I was literally like clenching my teeth, and I was
Oh
like,
my god.
good. And then my eyes started like watering, and I was like,
I can't
I'm not
handle
sure if I'm
that.
just a big fat baby or like, does it? But you know what? I'll say, Dana, I've wanted my eyebrows done for
I'm
like
glad you did it.
15 years.
I'm glad you did it. Yeah.
I pencil them in
You have to
every day.
You have to like what you're doing.
Oh, I'm so like ecstatic, and they'll calm down a
When
little
I get
bit,
my
and then I'll
tummy
just
tuck
wake up.
and I'm dying and I can't walk, and everyone's like, "Why would you do this?" I'll be like, "Yes."
No, you're right. You same thing. You want
Yeah.
that done.
Yeah.
Even though I think you should fucking embody that shit. I'd put jewels all over it and just like walk around.
Ew.
Yeah. I would
I put
totally
jewels on my
put
fat pouch above my
the
vagina.
apron that you call it.
Yeah.
I would lift that shit up. and,
Okay,
like,
it's not
adorn
that
it.
big that I have to lift it all the way up, but like it's
I'm
just
joking.
there. Ugh.
No. Fucking I would crop
Mm-mm.
top that and rub it in everyone's face and be like, this is
No.
beautiful. This is what
No.
having 3 kids looks like.
It's true.
Did I mean like I don't know, but I know what you're saying. We have to. There's parts of us we're so hard on ourselves, and like the parts that we have to like love and accept, and then there's parts that's not. Like I wanted better eyebrows.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, you did it, and I'm
and
proud
I
of
paid
you.
for it, and it was fucking painful. But the lady that was doing, I was like, I know I want electrolysis. I want electrolysis. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Like
like
all the
laser
hair
hair
goes.
removal.
That'd be amazing on my vagina
I
because
know.
I
You
feel
know
like
what brand
it
just reached
itches
out to me?
when
There's
you
like a
shave.
home one.
I know. Do you think it
And
works? That
I don't
zappy
know.
zap thing?
I don't know.
Oh, dude, on your
I
TikTok
know. I mean,
shop.
they did reach out to me. I
I'll be
mean, I
your
could
model.
try it and see. I told John, I was like, I'll do your chest, and if it works, everyone would buy it.
Oh my God, please do. I want to know.
Oh
But
my
she says she
gosh.
wanted it on her chin because she used to like, do you get the black hairs on
Let
your
me tell
chin?
you.
I have a lot of friends that do. I don't.
Happens a lot as you get
Here?
older. I
You
don't
get
have
'em?
them.
Oh,
No.
okay. I was gonna
But
say I
as you
don't
get
either.
older, it does tend to
I
happen.
know. I sort of feel lucky, but I think I sort of have a mustache.
Oh, I definitely have a mustache. I shave that stuff.
You do?
Yeah.
Mine's just peach
With the
fuzz.
like when I
I'm like a
dermaplane, I
teenager.
do all of it. So I do here,
A
I
boy
do
teen.
this. I even do my nose when I dermaplane.
What's
I
on
feel like
your
I keep
nose?
turning. I don't understand what's wrong.
Oh, you're really
Oh
swivelly.
my gosh. Okay, so
Anyway, so
off
the
that
beauty.
topic, on to I wanted to talk to you about like why I think we get along. I have a theory.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think I was watching this video. I think we are both type B moms
What's that mean?
with a little sprinkle of type A just for spiciness.
Yeah.
But so I was watching this video and this mom was like talking about how she's such a type A mom.
Okay.
And like, you know, she has everything's like perfectly organized and structured, both like in her house, but also in her life. Like she is just a very like her kids are always on time to everything. Her kids are always like dressed to the nine, hair done. Everything's perfect, you know, like perfection all around. Her career, her house, like everything's perfect. And then I was watching this mom who stitched it, who was
Wonder if
like,
her
well,
sex is
I'm a
perfect.
type, maybe her sex is perfect. Probably not.
I was
feel
gonna
like
say
perfect
if you
sex
put that
is
much
not good
energy.
sex.
Well, not perfect, but right. No, I meant
Right?
like if you're putting a lot. I'm not saying it can't be done, so don't all you.
Do you think type A's do mostly like missionary, like bland?
I don't know, sometimes the ones that are, like, so put together are, like, the wild ones.
Wild in the sheets.
Yeah, and I think even someone like me who, like, has colorful hair,
Yeah.
they immediately think I'm, like,
Wild in general.
like, wild in
Yeah.
general, and I think that I'm actually a boar, so
You told me how you wore gold jewelry to feel like Egyptian or some shit.
tantrically sexy.
Okay, that in and of itself is so unique.
Are you kidding me? There's some people with crazy ass kinks out there.
Well, of course,
like
it's not a kink, I'm
and
just
stuff.
saying.
So just putting on like extra gold bangles and jewelry and stuff is nothing compared to wearing like a strap on or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are people, and I think it's amazing if you can get like crazy with your
How
partner.
do we go from type A to strap-ons?
I don't know, because that's how we talk. That's what we do.
Well, I think we're type B
Okay,
moms.
go on. Okay,
type
so
B
type
moms
A-
are going to be like a little bit more
Can I
hot
tell you
mess
though
moms.
that I want to be a type A mom?
So do
like
I.
kind of get off on like when I see like
Yes.
on Instagram or TikTok like someone having their shelves organized and they're all
Yes.
labeled. I'm like, oh, I like literally like start drooling over like that life.
I know, me
because
too. And
I'm
I
chaotic
even
here
think
and I
that I
want
can be
structure.
that sometimes. Like I'll be like,
yeah.
I'm going to order all of those organizers and I'm going to be that
Me too.
person.
Me too.
I'm never going to be that fucking person. That's wired in you or it's not wired in you. You could get better, but I don't think you can go from being not that person to literally being that person. Those bins will get unorganized too.
So I wonder if I've never thought of myself as either. I wonder if Trevor would think I'm type A just because like I'm a bossy broad, but
Well, that's where I'm confused because I always
like
thought I was type
spout out
A.
orders.
Yes, I always considered myself type A because I'm like very like you just said, like bossy and like
Yeah.
on top of things and all that, like the normal type A things.
Yeah.
But I'm not type A at the same time because I'm also like go with the flow with a lot of shit.
Yeah, but do you think we will be once our kids are out of our house?
I
and we
don't
have all
know.
that time.
I also like don't have the brain capacity, I think.
Yeah, probably me either. I think I want to. I definitely am like ADHD,
You're a wannabe type
where
A.
like I will hyper obsess, and on that day, like you said, like if there's a project, like I'll die all day trying to finish it because I'm going to accomplish this task.
Yeah, no, same.
But other than that, that's about as type A as I can get. Is
Me
just
too. I
due
can't
being
stick to it for a
ADHD
long
and
period
being
of time.
obsessively hyper focused. That's the only way like I get shit done.
Yeah, I don't think that's type A. I think that's ADHD. Sorry.
This was my moment.
I'm
Dana.
sorry.
All right, so type B is what? Just a fucking hot mess all the time? I'm not a hot mess. I get to where I go on time, right? Have I ever been late?
Well, that's why I said I think we have sprinkles of type A.
I think I'm a little bit more type A.
I think you're a little bit, but you're
But
also
not much.
super go with the flow with certain things too.
Yeah.
That I'm more like a little bit more like,
Like what?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, I'm like ready to stutter and like gag. You're so go with the flow, and I feel like I'm always just trying to keep up with you.
certain
You're like,
things.
whatever, do whatever, stamp whatever,
No.
make my life crazy. You know, like, and I'm always like, me. Okay, I'm gonna be selfless in this moment so everyone thinks I'm a good mom. Like,
shut up.
like I'm just like always dying inside, but I'm like, I can do this. I can do hard things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're different with different things. I think I'm actually a little bit more type A though with like certain things than you. Like, I don't know. I feel like dance stuff. I feel like you're usually like, wait, do we need this? Do we need this? Like, what do I pack for this? And
Oh yeah.
I'm like, here's safety
think-
pins and bobby pins, and I have all the like at the
Oh,
conventions. I'm like,
Actually, I'm a big mess right now. I'm like, I didn't bring the sewing stuff. I don't have scissors.
I have a
don't
hot
tape,
glue
I
gun,
don't
a
have-
steamer. I got
Me
it
either.
all.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Oh, I'm like very structured with that stuff.
You know why I don't? Because I know someone else will.
Exactly.
I like depend on you guys. I'm like, I'm not rolling in with all that shit. All those people that do all that, I'll just ask them.
I know. And
Because as a community,
it is
do
a
all of
community.
us need a fucking steamer?
We don't. But you know what? I always bring a steamer everywhere.
I've never
I
used a steamer
worship
in my life.
steamer. What?
Who cares if you come in and there's like a line on your shirt? What kind of place do we live in? The
Okay,
society
so
can't accept you because you have fucking wrinkles?
Well, yes, even in my forehead.
No, on your clothes. It's so dumb.
I Botox and I steam.
I Botox too, but can't even tell without our filters. We
So
didn't get into that.
I love steamers because I hate ironing. I will not iron.
I don't think I've ever ironed a day in my life.
John's an ironer. He will iron things. I hate ironing.
You mean people still iron?
Yeah, he'll iron his like dress. If he has like a meeting, he'll iron his dress
I
pants.
feel like
or
I
his,
think it's because I order really inexpensive clothing, and so I don't care. I think if I feel like it was really bad, I just throw it in the dryer.
So I used to do that, but then I
Yeah.
discovered the steamer, and the steamer is so easy and so quick. It's literally just I hang it up and I go shh, and it's perfect.
Okay, can we get a plug and someone like send a steamer and we'll like review
Oh my
it or
God.
something?
I don't know when I got this old that I'm excited about a steamer. It's kind of depressing.
No. There's
you
there's
need to
other
try
things
it.
I get excited about because I'm old. So
Yeah, air fryers and
Okay,
steamers.
so you're type B because you're so go with the flow and you're sort of chaotic. Like, I still can't believe that, like, you'll go to bed with, like, full makeup and stuff because you can't.
I'm getting better, but yeah, if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. Whatever, bitch.
Oh, no, see, I'm so type A, I have an entire routine, morning and night,
Yeah.
and I don't usually skip it. I
For
definitely can't
me,
sleep with my makeup on,
but for me, that's a hard one,
but you're
I
young
think,
too.
because it's also survival mode for me.
I know, and
Like,
I'm not in
I
survival mode.
am trying to
I mean, I
juggle.
am, but I'm not at I keep saying toddler, but, like, he's not a
He's
toddler.
not anymore, and it is getting easier. Like, this year, I definitely feel like life is getting easier. I do wash my makeup off more often. I do have
Yeah,
more
you're like, this year has probably been a
routines.
huge.
This has been a big year for me
Yeah,
of,
I
like,
can see that.
transitional period, but I have literally had a baby every single time my child is 3, like, there's a new baby around. So, like,
Yeah.
every time they hit that point where things are getting easier,
Didn't
I
you
have
make
a
a video on
newborn.
that? I don't know why people think that, like, there's a certain timeline where things are easier and not easier. I think it depends on the kid and where you are in life
You don't
and
think
how
your
old you
life's
are.
easier today than it was 5 years
No, I
ago?
meant about what age the kid is before you have the next one.
Oh,
People have
yeah.
all sorts of theories, and I'm like, you know what? You're never fucking ready. You don't know if that kid's gonna be an first early potty trainer or one that wants to shit itself till
You
it's
don't.
5.
You don't.
Like, it doesn't matter.
You don't, but
We're
I
all just
definitely
gonna
think
do the
that there's
best that
some
we can.
thought put into, like, age gaps. Like, if you have the ability to choose, I think there's pros and cons, like, financially and time-wise. Like, for me, like, the 3-year age gap I loved because I felt like at
You
3,
sound
they
like
were
a type A
still.
mom right now.
Well, I know, see, they're sorry, they're
And I'm
but
like, whatever. I just want it to not be an earth sign. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, right? It's just they had to be a specific sign. No, I just feel like the 3-year age gap gives you time to, like, for
And I
me,
mean
I
that
take
with
a
love because everyone
while.
in my family is an earth sign.
Earth sign? I don't even know the difference.
Disappointed.
I'm sorry. I don't know. What's the
I'm just
difference?
kidding. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that you can in a 3-year age gap, you have the time to heal postpartum mentally and physically, which takes me a very long time. Like, I am not someone who could have had a
Maybe you
baby a year apart. I
Well,
would have.
maybe it would be the best thing that ever happened to you because you can't swallow in your postpartumness. You have to just fucking do it.
I think the depression would have taken over me, and I would have been a very bad mom. For me, it's
That
just
newborn doesn't know, and the 1-year-old doesn't know.
I know, but I know. Like, postpartum's hard. If you have real postpartum
I
depression,
did.
yeah, that's
Do
hard.
you know that I was evacuated for a hurricane during postpartum? Freya
Ugh.
was 5 days old for that fucking hurricane that happened here. I had fresh stitches in my vagina, and we
Mhm.
loaded up the van with the dog, the cat. Styles was
Yeah.
only 2.5 years old. My mom was there visiting. My
Oh
dad
my
was like
god.
freaking out. And we all loaded up the van to go to my friend's parents' house that was further north up in South Carolina. Every bump we went over, my stitches
Oh,
were
it
like,
was probably awful.
and then we had to go to someone else's home
Yeah,
while
that
I was in major
sucks.
postpartum, and my mom was, like, trying to be there for me, but I didn't want her.
Yeah, you
I'm,
shut
like,
everyone
such
out.
I'm, like, pretty a secure attachment person with slight bit of avoidance, so when I feel overwhelmed, I push people out,
Mhm.
and I was being nasty to her. She had to go make friends with my friends' parents and, like, hang out with them
That
and, like, watch the
sucks.
news with them, but they were politically different, and she had to just sit there and be like, because I was worse. She'd rather sit in a room with people with different
She would
political
rather do
views
anything.
than sit with me, and I
Yeah.
felt when I look back, talk about guilt, I felt so bad, but it was like, like you said, I
You're a
was
different person.
I was
You're not the same
something
person.
was wrong with,
Yeah.
like, it was obviously, like, postpartum was so fucking weird.
Yeah, you're a different person. It's not like I didn't have it with my other 2, but with Lily, I had it bad. And, like, I
Is there,
think
like,
back, I actually can't remember the first 6 months much.
Yeah.
I think I
Oh,
was
me
in
too, I was
such
traumatized.
a phase, like a haze. Why can't
Yeah.
I speak today? I can't find words.
That's alright, just drink more coffee.
But, so I just think I think any age gap, you can't guarantee anything, right?
No,
Like, you
right.
can't guarantee your kids are gonna get along. You can't guarantee any of this.
Yeah.
The only thing you can guarantee with age gaps a little bit is, like, things that
Maybe
I
double
think of.
preschools or something,
I was gonna say
cost-wise.
cost. We wouldn't have
Okay.
been able to afford to at the same time either. So,
Well,
like,
you end up doing what you do. Maybe you wouldn't have done the preschool that you wanted to, but maybe you would have done I like
we
my
used
kids.
to be broke.
Okay, well,
Broke.
I too, like,
Yeah.
I taught fitness classes and that's all, and I was making like $20 an hour, and like you can only
Yeah.
teach so many fitness class. So
I think some people, though, that are making ends meet, like, if they can plan it, why would you put them close together
But if you can plan it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can plan it, if you have the privilege to plan it and you are broke, spreading them out a little bit definitely makes life easier.
Yeah.
Or if you have the privilege
I
to
agree with
plan it
that.
and you deal with bad postpartum, spreading them out a little bit might help you heal a little. Like, like there's just certain things that, but not spreading them out so far, maybe that you are worried that there's going to have no similarities or you're going
Yeah.
to be,
Oh
but
my
you don't
gosh.
know. You
My
don't know.
mother-in-law and her sister are like, I think almost like 20 years apart or something
That's
crazy.
wild.
Not 20, they're 15. And they're best friends. They call each other every day, like multiple times a
How
day.
cute is this little cup I got sent to me?
It's super cute. It's
Right?
like ombre rainbow, iridescent rainbow or whatever.
Miyoki.
Miyoki. So back to the type A, type B. Is there a
Yes.
type C? Because I feel like
Yes. I just don't know what it is, but I saw someone talk about a type C and I think it's kind of a mixture, which maybe that's more of where we are at.
yeah.
Like kind of a mixture of like there are certain things that you're like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, but then there's certain things that you're like, I really give a fuck.
Wait. I need a perspective because I feel like I'm failing in life, even in dance. Wait, what's good? What is the type A thing that I do well? Or not well, just because you're type A doesn't mean you're doing well. But
That's
like,
true,
is there
yeah.
something that
That's a
I'm
good
type
point.
A
Type A
well?
doesn't mean you're doing well.
Okay.
Type B sometimes is a good thing, I think.
Oh, I do too. No
Life's
offense.
too
I don't.
short to
I was
take
gonna
it
say no
everything so
offense
seriously.
to the type A'ers out there because I need you.
There's a place for everyone, yeah.
I need you in my life. I
Yes.
want you to come to my house and help me like schedule and organize. But like, I wonder what
I think you are very good at routines.
Oh, it's true.
And I think that's pretty admirable. Like, I love that you, even though I make fun of you for it, I love that you have like your nighttime routine and your self-care routine and your workout routine. You're committed when you're committed.
Yeah, and I'll
That's
do it
cool.
forever. Yeah.
Let's talk about flaws. Everyone has flaws, right? What do you think is a flaw of mine
You're late.
as like a friendship flaw?
Oh, you're late.
I'm late, yeah.
That's
Totally.
it though.
Yeah.
That's it. And that might be my type A because it's only because I'm overwhelmed by my schedule, but I'm
Yeah.
like every minute counts for me.
Right.
But you know what? I actually know that about you.
Yeah.
And so I'll get ready at the time just in case you do
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And then I fill it up doing the thing.
Doing what you have to do.
So I thought you were going to arrive at 10.
So I thought we said 10:30 for some reason.
It's okay. And I knew in my text I probably should have said that. But anyway, so I was like, okay, it's like 10:07, 10:10. Then you said you're on your way. I was like, okay, I have time. So then I just started packing.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
but
No, I know.
I don't think you have any other flaw, Dana. That's why we're probably really, really good friends. Like
thanks.
I really am thinking like hard, like even as like a person, like no. Everything that you usually set out to do, you do. And I love that you're also real and authentic. And I know that
Thanks.
you don't mind putting yourself out there, good or bad. And we've never really had a tiff, but I think even if we did, like we'd talk about
I think we
it
could
and get over
communicate
it.
well, yeah.
Well, like I can't see you like holding a major grudge.
No.
Which is good because I know there's some people that like if I didn't give them enough time,
Mhm.
if I didn't call them enough,
Yeah.
text enough, give them a present on their birthday, go
Yeah.
out for something, or even to be able to show up to like a funeral for their parent or something like that, that they would like not be my friend anymore.
Right.
And I've had all kinds of friends like that. And I feel like you'd be forgiving and
Yeah, I feel like it's all about communication. Like
yeah.
I think that like both of us, like if something does go wrong, like you just talk about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
People are gonna forget things. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's not
I
that
also
big a
don't find a
deal.
big deal about a lot of things. Like I don't know. Like if someone
I
forgets
agree.
something,
I agree.
I mean, I get it, right? Like your actions do speak volumes sometimes, but like I
don't know.
also
I just
feel
feel like in this day
like
and age, we're all so
we're so
overwhelmed.
busy. Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like,
as
I'm
long as your
trying.
daily actions, like as far as like what, not even daily, as long as your actions, as far as like you being a good person, a good friend, like caring, like
yeah.
I feel like what else can you do?
And listen, if those things are important to you and a friend is not showing up in that way, your reasons are valid. I'm not saying, I'm just
Right.
saying for me, I know who I am and what I have to offer. And usually people I'm friends with also have similar lifestyles
Yeah.
and stuff. So they are a little bit more understanding.
Do you think you can be friends with someone
Okay.
who, and let's talk.
Wait, can we do your flaws first? Or my flaws, sorry?
Yes, I'll do your flaws. Hold on.
Okay.
I actually have this question though for you.
I'm
quick.
so nervous.
If you think that do you think you could be friends with someone? I'm going to go with two options. Friends with someone that not on a kid level, not mom friends, just regular friends that has different views than you. And then do you think you could be mom friends with someone who parents totally opposite of you and has totally opposite views of you?
Okay, what was the first one again? Friends that have different views. Yes, because I have many friends that have many different views
Yeah.
from me, and I hate this is what it's usually political or religious.
Yeah, I feel like those are the most controversial topics, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. So, and I have tons of friends, and actually and only in the last few years, I would say only in the last like 3 years have I been really like loving it. Like I don't know everything, motherfuckers. Like just because and I'm not even strong in any of my opinions or my views because I like other people with different views on things because I'm learning something from them. And I think that me pushing myself to not be resistant and throw up a wall just because they believe in something that I don't or
Right.
whatever. That's so narrow-minded.
It
No
is.
offense. Sorry.
It is.
I'm
A lot of
sorry.
people
That's
are
something
like
I
that
stand
though,
by.
and they
I'm
feel like
sorry.
that.
You are. You are being narrow-minded if you cannot be open to listening to someone else's like way that they want to live. They
Now,
get to
what if they
choose how they want to
believe
live.
in something though that's like really against your beliefs?
I
Are
still
you
will love
okay with
them.
it?
Yeah, my parents are that way.
Yeah.
Because I love them for who they are. We're all different and we all have different purpose. And even if their purpose is to have contrast, not just in my life, but in the world for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
who am I? I'm not the creator of everything. I'm not source. I'm not whatever DNA composition that became them. Like I'm not, who am I to say that they're wrong? In other words,
Right.
everything has a place, the good, the bad, the
Yeah,
ugly.
I know. I like struggle
Every
with that because I think there are a few. I can think of
There's
a few
exceptions.
things
There's
that to
exceptions.
me are black and white.
Yeah. I mean,
And if
that's
someone
okay.
was to have a gray, I would be like,
Yeah.
there's a few things. Not many,
I
but a
think I'm more
couple.
interested in that person's
More with
brain and
like
makeup, and I
if
wanna kinda know
you
why.
feel a certain way about like child stuff
Yeah.
or like murder. Like I'm talking big topics. Like I'm talking like there are some people that I think are bad people.
Well, yeah, they're bad people, but they're also see, I zoom out a lot, and I think they're brought in here for the
Oh,
very reason for us to talk about it,
you
for
should
people to be
watch
scared of
I'm a
it.
Killer.
That's what I mean. And, like, we now know if we were all fucking Pleasantville, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
pleasant.
Yeah.
Say, like, I'm not saying that I don't condone the killers and the child molesters and everything like, but there is dark with good. It's the contrast, it's the light and the dark. Like it is all gonna happen regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it happens in the animal kingdom. Like it happens regardless. Like we're getting better. We are evolving as a human species where I don't think that that's as common. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I mean, maybe there is like the human trafficking is now like people like know
Yeah.
more about it,
Yeah.
whereas before they didn't.
More
So
access to
things
it
are
too.
like being sifted up, but good.
Yeah.
Now we're able to know it.
Yeah.
Now we look out for it. Now
Yeah.
we call, here I am again. Now we call people like this looked shady. Now
Yeah.
we have technology for tracking and everything. So we're trying to, do good with when we know it's bad, or
How
whatever.
did this
But
even come up? What were we talking
I
about?
fucking don't know.
I
How do
was
we backtrack?
asking. Oh, I was just asking if you think you
Oh,
could
okay. That
be
was a good
friends
thing.
with people
Yes, I
that
can.
have different views.
And
Now,
will
what
it
about?
trigger me sometimes? Probably, but
Yeah.
I'm in a age where I want to be triggered because I want to learn why I'm triggered. If I can handle my emotions, can I step back and zoom back? Can I be the observer? How can I be a better person always?
But now, how do you feel? Okay, so I can get on board with that with friends. But now, how do you feel about your kids and you being friends with a family who raises their kids very differently? And I
I
mean it in a way of like you being able to trust your kids over their house.
Well, what could I not trust other
So
than if
what
I
if
think
they're
their
like
dad's a creepy
super well,
motherfucker?
yeah. What if they're like super like super lenient? Like I'm talking like those like your kids go over there and those kids can do whatever
My
the
kids
fuck
have
they
friends
want.
like that. I have there's friends where they're like super religious and I know probably nothing's going to go down, but I know there's going to be different talk at their homes
Yeah.
maybe than maybe what I do. And I actually also educate my kids about all that too. I'll be like, some people
Yeah,
pray,
you
blah blah.
have to
Yeah.
they
So
are
like
gonna have to get
just
in
know that.
hear that and
Yeah.
make
So
their own
there's
decision.
that where I'm like, fine, like
Yeah.
whatever. My kids might not say things you don't like though.
Mhm.
And then the ones that are super lenient, I know there is one where like the mom like texts me, she's like, I should have asked you before, but I let the kids like wander around the neighborhood. And I'm
Mhm.
like, my eyes went up at first, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. And thank you for texting me.
Yeah.
Cause she's like, and my parents live down the street, so they'll keep an eye on them. So she like made it all like good, but like
Yeah.
I remember Callie having a friend that was super lenient. She's like a single mom, and like we just checked in like a
A
lot.
lot.
Like
Yeah.
you need to call me like every like 30 minutes. Like you
Yeah.
need to check in every hour. Have I ever kept them though from I guess we haven't. We're so fucking busy that like I don't even think I have that option to
Yeah.
have explored someone so lenient where I don't feel like they're safe or they're making decisions that I wouldn't do. And I also think the one friend that he had that is very lenient, I always be like, I don't know how I feel about that. And Trevor's like, I think he needs that sort of
Yeah.
like exposure. And I'm
Yeah.
like, true that. We had like one that would like be roughhouse with him and like tackle and
Yeah.
like punch him and stuff. And at first I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid?
Yeah.
Like, stop that. But then I was like, it kind of, Styles had to like, I don't know. Not that that's acceptable. I'm not saying kids should like beat up on themselves, but it was just like kind of regular masculine boy behavior where
Right.
he got excited and want to like wrestle. Just when they're younger, but
That's
I'm like,
so funny.
that is, like, exposure
Mhm.
therapy or whatever. What about you? I can't
I don't
imagine you having,
know.
like, another friend that's, like, more lenient that you're like,
Oh, I
"No."
don't think I'm lenient.
No, I'm not saying that you're lenient, but I can't imagine that there's someone else that is, like, so lenient that we don't feel
Yeah,
that either you and I.
Lily, there's a few friends that, not that she can't have them, but
Yeah.
there's rules, and she knows if she goes there, she's not allowed to leave the house.
I see what you're saying. Yes, and I do that too.
'Cause I
Silas
know
knows
that it's
too.
a free-for-all, and I'm not okay with a free-for-all, because my thing is, like, I can't guard them from everything, and I
Yeah.
definitely am semi-lenient with certain things, and I definitely let her explore and stuff like that, but at the same time, one mistake and it's over. Like, you don't get a comeback,
No,
you
and I
know?
get that too. I think before that one instance when I found out they would, like, ride bikes around the hood, he didn't have a phone or watch or
Right.
any I was like, "You
I
cannot
know.
go to someone." I don't care. Like, if you're over at your friend's house and you're all running around the neighborhood, you cannot there was an instance where he went because they are all friends from
Went and entered
school.
someone else's
He went to
house?
someone else's
Yeah,
house,
like
and I'm
that,
like,
yeah.
"I cannot have that happen." Like, I have no way of knowing, and
Yeah.
then I would have never known where you gone.
No.
Like, so I'm like he always now texts me, "Hey, we're gonna go to so and so's
Mhm.
house." Is that like the friend that he's with is now gonna go over to the
Yeah,
other
like,
person's house.
communicate with me. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And
So it's hard.
Frey doesn't have
But
a
yeah, as far as,
phone,
like,
so I don't let
viewpoints,
her.
that wouldn't matter to me. Like, I don't care if you're, like, religious, not religious, this, that. I mean, unless I guess if you're, like, a super hateful, like, horrible person. But,
Right.
like, as far as, like, viewpoints, I can care less. Like, go ahead, get exposed to it all. You're gonna meet different families and different views. But, yeah, I definitely think it is interesting as my oldest is getting older, I'm just starting to see it,
Mhm.
when you have parents who are, like, super, super lenient versus parents that aren't, there is a feeling when they leave, like, "Oh my god," like, because 'cause I'm not okay with that at my house. Am
Yeah.
I gonna be okay with it at your house, you know?
Um, but think about we all had that friend that
Oh,
we went
yeah.
to their house
Yep.
because their parents let them do whatever,
Oh,
but didn't you
100%.
have the most experiences there?
Yeah, good and bad.
Oh, I know, it was good and bad, but
Yeah.
where okay.
There could be bad experiences that you don't come back from.
There could be bad experience at the lenient person's
Yeah,
house
or the
or
not
the
yeah,
one that's not lenient,
yeah.
though. That's what I'm saying. Like we can only do what we can do with the amazing communication our kids can have now between
Mhm.
us and keep checking
Yeah,
in. And then
absolutely.
I
It's
don't
the
know
same
after
way
that.
I struggle with the idea of, like, will I one day use Life 360? Like, we were talking about this actually at
Trevor
the
keeps adding that
convention.
on my phone, and I'm like, I don't want you to know where I am all the time. Like, what
It's
the fuck?
we were talking about it at the convention, like, some of the moms who have teenagers,
Yeah.
they all use Life
Yeah.
360, they always know where their kids are, and
We
I'm
always
like,
know where
there
Callie
is
is, even
a
to this day.
part of me that wonders, and I can't judge it because I'm
Yeah.
not there yet, and I always think
We've been
things will
using Life
change.
360 with Callie forever. Same thing. She's like romping around with her friends around the town when she was like, middle school and
Yeah.
high school. And it's like, I don't know, like I need to
I
sort
mean,
of know where you
I have
are.
my kids' locations turned on for,
Yeah.
like, all the dance conventions, for when they're going around the neighborhood, like, I have it
Yeah.
right now, but I'm wondering at 17 years old, should she have the freedom to just do what she's doing and me maybe not know every single second?
Yeah.
'Cause I had
Probably.
that
I don't know.
freedom, you
Yeah.
know? And that's where it's, like, so interesting, but I also understand the other aspect of it of, I have this opportunity to know where you're at.
Well, why don't we just keep it on there but not check all the time? And only
Yeah.
when you my mom does this sometimes she'll like call me and if I'm having like a bad day, like she'll know in her gut.
Yeah.
Like she'll call. Like remember
Yeah.
when I
You
told you
do, you have
about
gut
like
feelings,
I had a
right?
feeling that something was
Yeah.
sort of off even with you. Like you have that gut
You
feeling. So
do.
maybe this is some advice. Maybe don't be an obsessive weirdo parent that's checking your kid all the time. Like fuck off. Like
Yeah.
if you raise a pretty decent kid, they're gonna make
My
pretty
feeling is as
decent
long as you're
decisions.
communicating with me, I'm
Right.
cool,
That's what I'm
like,
saying. Like
but
raise
you
kids
need
that
to
want to
answer me,
communicate with you
which she doesn't
and
already. She goes off to her friend's house and all of a sudden I'm like, "What the hell? Like, why are you not answering me? I know you got all your
oh, well,
stuff on
true.
you."
Well, then,
So
okay,
funny.
when you get to that point where they're being assholes and they're not responding to you, and all the things that you've taught them have gone out the
Yeah.
window, and they're not acting the way you expected, maybe then check it. But like, don't be obsessive. Like,
Yeah.
get out of their lives. My mom was very, very good. She never pries in my life. She never really calls me. She always waits for me to call her. And even when I was in college and a teenager and stuff, it does not mean that she didn't care. It does not mean that she didn't worry. She always told me that. She's like, but you're on your own journey and you have to start. Like, I've done what I could at 18. Like when she
Yeah.
left the house, like she wasn't saying you're on your own, like peace out, but she was always there. And she would call me if like it's been a long time and
Of
she had to
course. Yeah, yeah,
worry.
yeah.
It's not like she was like, peace, don't ever
Right.
talk to me again. But she did give me that. She always gave me that freedom. It was never a mom that came into my room and like looked through notes. Never, we didn't have
Same.
cell phones, but
Yeah.
if we did, she would have never gone through there and looked. Like
Yeah.
she wanted me to come to her, and
Yeah.
we're besties. Like, I tell her everything
Yeah.
because I trusted her. She didn't break my, like, trust with that
Yeah.
stuff. And
No,
I
I
know
agree.
that's all, like, gray area, and
It
there's
is. It's
shit
so
that goes
hard when you
down.
start going through it, but I definitely do agree. I think that kids are losing a lot of the freedom that they used to have.
Yeah.
And I get why. It's hard
I
and
know.
and we have the opportunity to know more, but I wonder what it'll do for them one day. Like them being so sheltered and not being able
That's
to.
what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
feel like some of the most amazing, successful, and not even just artistic people, but successful people and stuff went through shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want my kids to go through shit and suffer, but
I
like,
know.
I think there's
it's
some
a
like
hard, again, parenting's fucking
freaking
hard.
gain to that. I wanted to bring up the fact that like the little things that you can do for yourself, like things that we forgot that we love to do. I think I recently posted on my TikTok video. It was like an older video of me dancing in the studio by myself. And I was
Okay.
like, I think it I think how many of us used to be good at sports or good
Yeah.
at dance or even just good at like makeup? Like, were you that sixth grader that like watched videos all day on like how to do makeup and like curled their hair and really like loved shopping and stuff? Like, how many of us lost what we enjoy, like our passions and our hobbies here in our adults? And like, why aren't we attacking? And I'm only bringing that up because I'm so proud of like your rollerblading new
Well, I think it's true.
hobbies.
We definitely like are more apt to try new things and have hobbies and explore things when we're younger, and it goes away when you
But
get
why?
older. I don't know. I think you just start getting so busy with life and you almost get more sinister. Like you almost get like it's easier to get more sinister. Like it's easier to get in that grind of like work, home, tired, sleep,
I
shower, wake
know, but
up,
don't
do
you
the
think we're
thing.
the most
Yeah,
overwhelmed,
I don't think
depressed,
it's right.
anxiety,
Yeah.
unhealthy ridden society yet? Like,
Yes.
but why do we still move like sheep? Why do we not wake up and say, "Hey, I need some self-care." Like, "Oh my God, I still love dancing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go take that jungle body class with my girlfriends
I
and
don't
invite one of
know. And
them."
there's almost like humor put into
Suffering?
being
Yes.
depressed and
Oh.
working.
Oh,
Like,
people
why
are
are we
always like,
making
I like get no sleep. Like, I work 50 million hours away, like a
like
week.
it's like a
Peace. Like,
joke? Like,
they love it.
I know.
It's like
It's so
people that
weird.
like drink a lot or eat a lot.
Yeah.
They think it's so great. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely think that we should take up hobbies as adults. I also think it's probably the biggest predictor of how you're going to age. I really do. I think that taking up hobbies, dancing, moving your body, but not just your body, the mental stimulation of doing a new
Yes.
hobby, trying a new thing, having a goal.
Mhm.
I think that's everything. I think people
Me
should have
too.
hobbies through their whole life.
I do too, because
Absolutely.
how can you stand yourself if you're doing the same thing every day?
Yeah.
Listen, I know we all have to make money. So if you are like selling car insurance or something, I mean, maybe it's not that exciting and you're doing it every day and you've done it for years and you're doing it for your family, I get it. But like I'm sorry, everybody has 20 minutes
Mhm.
at least once a week
Well, you know what
to
happens?
go
The
do something
brain
fun for
wants to
yourself.
do the easiest thing, and sometimes when you get
No.
into that depression, I think, and that I think you hit a point of losing yourself. And again, I'm not saying it's right. I just
Yeah.
think you hit a point of losing yourself
I
that
do
you
too.
almost don't know how to come out of it.
Callie used to tell me that.
And
And I
it's
get
hard.
that too. I've been depressed
Yeah.
before. I've been like a whole like good year where I was working a lot. I had a really good job. I call it the
Yeah.
blood
And
money
you're just like
company,
in the grind of
where
it
it was
and
like
you
a
like
scandalous,
can't.
fraudulent
Oh
company
my
that I
God.
didn't even know about until obviously like I was about to
Right.
quit. And I was making like amazing money.
Yeah.
You
And
guys,
you
that was
just
the only time I was like on antidepressants and stuff because I was like, what's wrong with me? I was so unhappy. I was working so many hours. There was so much pressure on me to like get the numbers up and stuff like that. And like, I was like, so I do see people that are like
I think that's what
crazy like that.
happens. I
But
think that you just end up losing yourself a little bit and you don't know how to get out of it. But I'm
But after a
telling
certain
you,
amount of
if
time,
you just get yourself out of it
yes, that's
and
what
you
I
just
mean.
start something,
You have to
start
get
something, it
yourself out of the
helps.
hole. It's like being
Yeah.
in a it's like being in a toxic relationship. Many of us like can get out
Yeah.
after a while, but you have to do it on your own. But it's
Mhm.
the same thing. Like
Yeah.
you got to get out of your own like rut.
You do. You do. It's tough though.
It is tough. I'm not saying
But
it's
that's
easy.
why I
But like, why
think
are we okay with settling like that? How did we get?
we're so okay with settling.
Ugh,
And I don't
I'm so
understand it
disappointed.
because I know, and I don't get it.
But maybe it's personalities too. Like
It
different
probably
personalities.
is. I know, like, a
I'm
lot
just
of
too hyper
older
for that.
generations, and when I say that, I think of like my parents, my grandparents,
Yeah.
whatever, like always felt like travel should be saved for like retirement. Like you travel, you travel when you retire, like you worked so hard and now you get to have a reward.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Oh, actually Trevor's mom, my mother-in-law always says that. She's like, you got to live a little bit. You can't keep
have
saving
to.
for retirement. She's like, sometimes they'll like go do this big vacation. She's like, I can't take this with me when I die.
No.
And while I'm still walking and while I'm still healthy, we're gonna fucking do
And I
this.
think you
I'm
could put
so
that
proud
into
of her. She's so
hobbies too.
Right.
You could put that into
Like, don't wait till
dancing
you're
and
60 and your
rollerblading
kids are now
and
finally out of the house or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah.
well, because then
When I
you
had
really
my
don't
health
know
in
who
my
you
youth.
are.
I know, but you had your health in your youth when you're young. I know it's hard, you guys. I know that we're all struggling. I know that we're all trying to survive. You
Mhm.
should see, like, I have laundry backed up for days. I haven't been able to do a deep clean in my house. I'm barely fucking have time to do anything, but like, I'll still make time.
And sometimes it
It makes
does
me
mean having to give up
Yes.
on other things.
Yes. Like the dishes
I'm gonna
one
be
night.
honest. My house, like my laundry, is like awful right
Me
now.
too.
But
I need to wash
I
my
did a
sheets
lot
in
of
my
things this
bed.
week that I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and this week just got devoted to
Like,
those things.
Really? Really? Is it that important? Now, I know for type A people, they have to have I'm a kitchen person. Like, the kitchen has to be
Yeah.
clean. Dishes have to be put up. My countertops have to be clean before I can go to bed. Like, have my
Yeah.
routine. But like last night
Is
with
there
my
somewhere else so that you can kind of leave and that way you could focus on a workout or
Yes, it's
focus on a
not that,
hobby?
you guys, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Day in and day out, week after week, month after month, and year after year. Are you going to look back and be like, I'm so happy the dishes were clean every night? Like,
Also, laundry is always going to be coming and
It's
coming
always
and
gonna
coming.
be
It's
like-
always going to
it's like
happen.
making your
But like,
bed. I
if
don't
you
get
lose
it.
your health, you lose your health. It's done.
No, you're also
You
gonna
can't
look
get
back
that
and
back, and you
regret.
can't get time back.
Exactly.
Those are the
Time's
only two
most
things I
precious
think in our
thing.
whole world that we can't get back is time and
And
health.
especially with the people that you love. So like last night was my date night with Freya. Do you guys know when I went, you know how I have my nightly routines? Once
Yeah.
we got to like 8:30 and I'm still fucking making soap with her, my whole house was a disaster. And I
Yeah.
still have to like think about dance competition. We're packing stuff and I'm like, I was starting to get cranky.
Yeah.
At the end, I was like, like I was like literally having like withdrawals.
So that was
from my
happening to
regular
John the other
routine.
night. We did pottery,
Mhm.
and we were starting to get cranky because it was 10:30 at night.
This is the
And
difference between me
It
and
was
her.
late, and we're starting to get
8:30
cranky.
was late for me.
Yeah.
Because they
We're
still had
starting
take
to
baths
get
and stuff.
cranky, and we have a lot of stuff to do. And I didn't want to go to sleep with them. I wanted to like stay up and get stuff done.
Yeah.
But then I had a second, and I said to John, and
Yeah.
I was like, if we start getting cranky now, then all of this was for nothing.
Yeah.
Because then the memory of it
Absolutely.
is negative and not positive.
Exactly.
So now, sure, we did the pottery, but was it a fun experience or was it a
Mhm.
rush through cranky experience? Because if it's
Mhm.
going to be rushed through and cranky, we might as well have not done it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard, but you have to like remind yourself that.
Well,
Not
speak-
you specifically, just in general. Like I have to
No,
remind
no,
myself of it too.
I
like
did the best I could, but here's me
it's
being
hard.
like completely honest and perhaps like my flaws and also just growing pains and overwhelmness as a parent. I had a better date time. I was in a better mental place and space with Callie and Styles and with Freya.
Yeah.
Like by the time I got to her and she was and what's the worst thing is that she was looking for it the most because she
Yeah.
had to wait. And at the end I kind of screwed it up. I'm like, I hope like I got kind of cranky. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, come on, Freya, we need to get ready for bed and like wrapping it up. And I
Yeah.
think she was still on that high. Like,
Yeah.
so if I could do all over again, like I did the best I could, but also like I don't know, have compassion on yourself that like the first time you
Yes.
decide to do date with your kids
Yeah.
and you are undoing your regular routine and you're a little cranky, just try to give
At the end
yourself
of the
some-
day, I'm sure she'll remember all the good about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I was
you
gonna
know?
say, yeah, don't be
But
so
I
hard on
definitely do
yourself.
try to tell myself when I start getting like that, like, is it all going to be for nothing then?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's a good I needed to hear that too.
yeah.
Like I didn't even think about that. All I thought was like, shit, I can feel myself getting cranky. And I even said to her, I'm like, I'm sorry, I got cranky at the end, but I'm like, I really enjoyed my time. You know, I
It's
wrapped it
hard
up,
because
but,
like we're so as a society
Ugh.
trying to do stuff with our kids on very little time because a lot of us have both of us
That's just
work
what
and
I'm
both of
talking
us are
about.
doing all this stuff.
we all want to be great parents,
Yes.
but we're all like fucking exhausted.
But you know what? If you're forcing some activities, then they
Mhm.
might not even be worth doing. You might as
Yeah.
well save that time and maybe just like lay down with them and talk, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like maybe it's
that's a good
just
idea.
a different.
Like,
maybe
you
you
had
go
this
an
big
alternative
plan,
route. Yeah,
but like the vibe wasn't right, and it's
Yep.
like I know you were looking forward to this. So,
I
like,
did
I
that
want more
when we
time.
were doing like Christmas stuff, and I was like, we were all in a bad mood, and it just wasn't the
Yeah.
night. And I was like, you know
Yeah,
what?
maybe you don't do
Let's
it.
not even do it right now. We'll do it. It's not a punishment, but
I
like
can even
let's
hear
save
everyone
it.
going.
I know.
"Ah,
Let's
what?"
save it though. Let's save it for a time that we're all in a good mood. It's not
Yeah.
worth it if it's not going to be fun.
Well, speaking of cranky, like, what about between you and John? Like, what are the things? This is for people, like, because I feel like we talk about kids a lot
Yeah.
too. But like in the marriage world,
Yeah.
like, I saw something on TikTok where like guys like 3 things that you should be doing for like the guy that you're involved with or whatever, and it's like affection, just simple affection.
I saw
From
someone
your
post this and
hand-
they were like, just feed them, get naked every day, and like something else. And I was dying laughing. I'm like, it's
That's
so true.
true.
He'd be so happy.
so true, but so true when when we're in our regular routine, we're not about to just
No.
walk up naked. I mean, some of y'all do, and like fucking, that's amazing. I applaud you for being like.
I think
that
Joe would
amazing,
die if
but-
I just like came home and just took my clothes off and walked around. Like,
I've definitely done that before, but it's been a while.
yeah.
I don't know, just that simple affection and saying like, thank you or
Yeah.
please, because I bark out orders all the time. My mom used to give me this advice. She's like, a simple please and then afterward, thank you. Even when you're cranky,
Yeah.
if you just say those 2 words, it's better. And lately I've been doing a really bad job. Even Trevor's had to be like, it's the way you're saying it. Like, you don't even fucking like, you're not even nice about it. I'm like, I don't have time to be nice. I'm like, I've actually had to be nice to everyone. You're the last person on the total board, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like, I'm about to get my period, and I'm overwhelmed. Like, you just have to like take it up the ass just for a couple days.
Yeah.
Until I can get my shit back together. Like, I
I know.
screamed at him, and I'm like, I'm sorry. But then I reflect back. I'm like, who the fuck am I? I'm like, that was so mean. How
I
come he
know.
puts
John's
up with
communicated
me?
that with me before, like not feeling appreciated.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you just get into such an
yeah.
overwhelmed moment of like, you just feel like you need a partner in that moment. Like, you need someone
Yes.
to like do it. And like,
Yeah.
he's also like really good. Like, I know a lot of people deal with husbands that are like other
I was gonna
kids,
say,
which
Trevor
I hate when
does
people say that.
really well.
I'm like, if you're dealing with another kid, that's a problem in my eyes, but
Oh,
whatever.
hell no. I cannot deal
No,
with another
I don't have
child.
time for that shit.
Me either.
But what I'm going to say is that I definitely do need to verbalize my appreciation more
Mhm. I'm bad
because
at
I
that.
am quick at just thinking like, well, it's expected of both of us. Let's do it. Like, let's get it
Right.
done. Like, I want to do it now. Like, let's hurry up,
Yes.
you know? Like even last night he woke up at 2 a.m. and like did like dishes and cleaned downstairs because he knew we were going to be so chaotic today. And I don't even think I said thanks to him this morning,
Right.
but like it was because I'm
Oh.
also running out the door and getting the kids and this and that. And, you know, so it is hard. It is hard. He definitely needs to hear appreciation more than I do too.
Yeah.
So I
Me
think that's
too.
hard for me because I don't need to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a badass once I get it done. I'm thinking, I'm like
But-
cheering
but-
myself on that I don't need him to say thank you.
But those moments that has he ever like turned on and been like, hey, I just want
Yes.
to say thank you. I know that
Yes.
you do a lot.
And it is
doesn't
nice.
it feel good?
It does feel good.
I was
It
gonna
does.
say when Trevor
I
turns
just
on
don't
sometimes,
need
he's
it,
like,
and I
you're
think
an
he
awesome,
needs it.
huh?
I just don't need it where I think he needs it.
Yeah, it's like the words. It's like your love language.
That
the
is
words
his love language.
Mine
His
is
love
too.
language is definitely like
words of
words of
affirmation.
affirmation and all of that, where
That
mine is just like,
encouraging.
just him doing it is mine. Like the service and the
service,
gifts
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't need to hear it. I
You don't
just
need
need
to hear
you
it
to
because it's
do
getting
it.
done.
I'm
Yeah.
a big like, I actually am. I've always said this to him. I don't want to hear words. I want to see action.
Ooh, I
Like,
like that.
don't even tell me you're sorry. Like, show me you're sorry. Or like,
Yeah.
don't even tell me that you'll do it unless you're gonna do it. Like, my biggest thing is I hate when people overpromise things. And I think it's
Yeah.
very easy to do with words. But John was a big
Oh,
overpromiser.
really?
And
I don't promise
I
shit because I know.
hate it. Like, don't tell me something unless you're gonna stick to it. And I know shit happens. I'm not saying that there's not ways about it, but like, I don't like overpromisers.
Yeah.
So I'm not a words person like that. I'd rather you just act.
I don't need the words a lot. In fact, sometimes like if Trevor starts talking, I feel overwhelmed. I do this face. I'm like, I don't even know what you're about to tell me, but I can't accept information right now. I'm like on overload, you know,
I
but
can't even picture you two fighting. I feel like you guys are so lovey-dovey.
oh my God, all we do is
Oh my
bicker
God.
all
If
fucking
you knew
day.
them, they're like on top of each other 24/7. So it's so shocking to hear that you even argue.
This is my new thing to him. We have, there's a backstory to it, which I don't want to offend the people in that community, but when you get overstimulated by either sounds or clapping or cheering. So I was saying that I am a person that gets overstimulated, but you know, like some people don't like clapping.
Yeah.
So they'll like go like this instead
Mhm.
for snaps or something. So I feel like when he's talking to me too much or there's too much going on, I'll be like, no clapping. Like it's my new like thing to tell
Yeah.
him now. Like no,
Like
no,
you're
no.
overstimulated.
I'm
yeah.
overstimulated. No,
John's like that, but I'm let's keep talking and I'll follow him around the house and he's like, leave me alone for 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
But I'm like, let's communicate. We have to talk about this problem and we need to solve
I do
it
that
right
too,
now.
though. I do that too. He like goes mute, and I'm sitting there like for 30 minutes, and I'm like, and you know, and if
If John shuts down though, it makes me panic because when John shuts down,
I
like
shut down too.
he's
oh,
like
me too. You're not
over
getting.
the hill.
I
Like,
cannot.
we
If once
are in
I
a
get
bad
to the
place.
shutdown point, but that's only due to like a massive fight or something.
Yeah,
like
it very
that.
rarely happens, but
I
I
am
know when it
not
happens,
going to
it's not
talk
good.
to you for like, and not to be mean. It's not a punishment, but
It's like a self-preservation.
yeah. So it's like, give me a fucking day. Like
Yeah.
I am not feeling good right now about myself, and so anything that I say is not coming from a good place or my true heart. And I also need to stop being in that defensive mode. I need to like absorb what you had to say. I'm like, just give me some time to do all that.
So I
and,
think
like,
the theme
clear
of this
out.
entire podcast is communicate. Communicate with your kids, communicate with your friends, communicate with your husbands.
Yeah.
Just communicate because it makes everything better.
Unless you're an avoidant and you don't want to communicate.
Well, sometimes you still have to communicate.
No, I'm just
Communicate with
kidding.
yourself then.
Yeah.
And think
Or journal
reflect
about
and journal
it.
and think about what you need to do to move
Yeah.
forward. Let's not victimize
This is a
ourselves.
big one about
Let's kind of
communication.
move on and
Yeah.
like figure out how to be better.
Yeah.
Get hobbies, take care of yourself. Life's short. We're all going to die. My classic words.
I love it. We're all gonna
Now,
die.
really quick before we end this, I wanted to tell you that this is like a current event type thing. It's not a current event. It actually already happened, but it's on
God.
Netflix right now and it's
Okay.
trending. And I want you to watch American Nightmare on Netflix.
Is
And
it
I want to talk
scary?
about it. It's a true story that happened, I want to say like 2018 or something. I don't know. But it is wild. I'll give you a quick synopsis.
Okay.
This couple was in their house sleeping. And
Okay.
all of a sudden they wake up to like a bright light and they get goggles put on them that have duct tape over it and they get headphones put on with like calming music telling them like it's okay. The person knows both of them and talks about their like Andrea's going to be okay, blah 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 whatever. Takes like zip ties the husband, the boyfriend, whatever up in the house, puts a camera on him and says, "You better not call the cops. I'm going to be like streaming this and watching you." And takes the girlfriend and leaves in the car. Anyway, long story short, she ends up at this place for like 2 days. They talk about like trafficking and stuff, and she's drugged up the whole time. And so she's remembering bits and pieces. I'm keeping it real simple, but
Yeah.
he does do stuff. She has a horrible experience.
He said Andrea's gonna be okay.
Well, she was not okay. Actually, I don't even think that was going to be, I don't know, whatever. It might not even been her name.
I was like, this can't be that bad. He just told her husband
No,
that Andrew's gonna
but
be
there was a personal thing to him. Like she kept saying like he would like be like, "I'm so sorry that I have to do this," and like whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, he ends up releasing her. He drives her back to her hometown, which is like 400 miles from where he took her. Drives her all the way back to her hometown, tells her to walk straight on the street and she'll get to her parents' house. During all this, they're starting to think he's a suspect, the boyfriend, and they're blaming him. And the interviews with the cops are terrible. They're like, this is far-fetched. It came out, this all happened right after the movie Gone Girl came out, and this is almost the whole Gone Girl premise. And they're like, you're making all this shit up. Where'd you hide her? What'd you do to her? And he's like panicking because he's like, I didn't even think that was going to be what happened. Like, I'm trying to tell you everything so you can find her. Why are you wasting your resources on me?
Oh, that'd be so frustrating.
So then she comes back and now they're like, this is a hoax. She must have planned this whole thing. She's trying to frame him, like all this stuff. Like no one believed their story for years. And then this cop finds this guy after he tried to do it to someone else. And she's putting together like this case matches this case.
Wait, if it's a personal friend, how come they couldn't get?
It's not a personal friend.
Oh, I thought you said it was a friend.
He just knew all about her and him. He
Oh.
finds out his victims' names. He knows about them. He uses their names when
Like
he's taking them. It is.
Yeah.
So anyway, they end up catching this guy years later. They connect the cases. This one cop is the only one in the whole world that believes this woman and this man. And the whole story was true. And she just talks about how hurtful it was that like no one would believe her. And they actually were trying to get them arrested for using federal resources and lying.
Wow.
So it's a really good movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie now. It's on Netflix. And I think you should watch it. And
Wait, is it like traumatizing? Like, do they show?
No.
Like,
It's literally a documentary. It's not a movie. It's a documentary.
Okay.
It's just them giving their interview. They live a beautiful life now. They have like kids and all that. I kind of ruined the whole thing for you, so you don't have to watch it at all. But I wanted to talk to you about it because I just thought it was such an. I was watching it last night and I was so like it was like one of those ones where I was like next episode. Like I needed to see what happened.
I don't have time for that in my life.
Well,
then
now
I'll
I
stay
gave
up
you
till,
the
like,
whole
2
premise, so you
a.m.
don't have to watch it.
Oh,
But I thought
I'll
it was a
watch
good story to discuss. We just did like the Gypsy Rose case.
Yeah,
It was like another
yeah.
case of like weird like people like didn't believe it, then they did, and it's just funny how like a case could like unravel like that, and you could have people who are like so gung ho like that person's lying, like that's what they were doing with Gypsy Rose, and now they're like gung ho like she's not or she is. Like it's just wild.
Do people still like talk about Gypsy Rose right now?
Yeah, apparently everyone's like
still...
anti her now. Now they're all thinking that she's actually very manipulative, just like her mom was, and they think she's manipulating
she's psychologically damaged you guys.
Well, they think that she's manipulating her husband now, and that there's like more to this
probably,
story and whatnot. And I don't know, so I can't even talk about it. But John was saying we should have looked into it, and I was like, true. But everyone like who was like all supporting her, a lot of people are no longer supporting her. Lots of anti-Gypsy Roses out there.
Okay, well, I don't know enough, and
me either.
I love that people do this to like presidents and political figures. They think they like know them.
I know.
Based off the clippings that they see. It's like, I can't judge that person.
I
know.
know.
You know, because they said this. I'm like, you know how many shitty things I've said in my life?
Okay. People get canceled really easily now.
I know. Or like the way that I say it, Trevor tells me how like
they
edit it.
Oh,
They chop it up.
AI can change everything now.
Well, they chop it up like you might have said this with this
Mhm.
sentence, but then they put it all together to make it sound like you said something else.
But what about AI? I was just watching this mom and she was saying that for her family, they have a code word now because AI can take your voice, especially if you're on the internet in any way, take your voice and it'll sound just like you and call a family member and say whatever they want to say. So there's a code, their family has a code word now if that was ever to happen that they could turn around and be like, "Is this you? Like what's our code word?"
Oh my
And if
God,
they
I
don't
need
know
a
it,
code
then it
word
could
for
be
my
AI.
kids.
I know. And I was like, shit, it sounds so far-fetched, but you're like, that actually could happen. It makes total sense.
Why did I choose to come in this life where like the AI is going to take over?
Yeah, I don't know if this
I
was
guess
the
it's
best
better
time.
than like dying of the bubonic
I think I
plague.
should have lived in the 90s.
Yeah. Wait, you think so?
I don't know, maybe.
I
I feel
want
like
the
the 90s
70s.
would have been a cool
I want the
time.
late 60s and 70s.
See, I don't know if I had enough rights then. I think the 90s would have been great because
I just wanted to dance and do drugs though.
No, I totally
Like
get
I wanted to
that.
go to club, what is it?
So maybe we needed to be
47
like,
for 50, whatever that one
I
club
feel like
was.
my mom grew up in a good time. So she was born in 1970.
Okay.
And then she
She
like
the
had
full
her a
80s
lot,
hair.
like she raised me as a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
Where like they didn't have to worry about phones and technology and people weren't as crazy about extracurriculars. It was kind of calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
But she also
I
had
wonder
like,
what was going on in economy then. I don't remember.
was in the
Like,
90s like a great time?
yeah, I don't remember what president and what
Bill
was going
Clinton.
on. Okay.
I mean, he was getting blowjobs, but you
I
know,
love that
I think he
everyone's
was
gonna-
running the country. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Wait, I don't know if he was doing a good job, but maybe he was doing a good job because he's getting head.
He was doing something. I don't know. I honestly don't
Maybe
know him
that's
as a
the answer
president to
to
say
all our
anything.
presidents is
Yeah,
that we just
right?
need to have a fluffer ready to go.
I don't know what to say about it because I was a child when he was in office, so I don't know
Yeah.
about that. But anyway, my point being is like, I think that was probably a good time to raise kids.
Yeah.
Like there was still a little bit of like, you know, it was an in between time I think of
Yeah.
then and now. Like
Right.
there was more love, more like.
I'm sure someone's gonna be like, "What about this that happened?"
I'm
in
sure something shitty happened.
Russia or whatever. I don't know.
No, I'm
like-
sure something shitty happened. I'm
because
sure
that's what I was trying to say in our big theme is that like there will always be
bad things.
shitty things happening.
Always.
And
It's
just
like when
because
people say
United
we're in the
States
worst
is-
times. Like there has
I
been
was gonna say,
so
my
many
mom
bad
lived in
times.
another country her whole life. She's like, do you know how many people were this country was against this
Yes,
country in
yes.
South America, and there was always like haters and
I
stuff.
gotta
and
go
always,
get my son from school.
Oh,
I know.
you're such a buzz.
We're gonna have to end this.
Wait, you have to go.
I
Get?
know. I'm gonna grab him right
thought
now
we
because
were
I'm right
gonna-
here.
All right.
All right, let's end this
Bye.
on the note of me running late again now to pick up my kid.
And we have like a countdown now to
I
pack
know.
up all our shit and go to.
I
a
know.
dance
We could maybe
competition.
do. Okay, we'll talk about this after.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Yay.
This is Not Your Mom's Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe so you could see more and hear more.
How you make it, how you wanna make it.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to follow and subscribe so you can tune in next week.